Hello everybody, welcome to Distance Learning 101. In this video, we're going to talk about evidence of learning and why it's so important in a distance learning environment. Now, by evidence of learning, we mean we want to see something that shows us that the student did the task and accomplished the learning. And a lot of times when a teacher's in a live classroom, you're doing this very informally by walking around the classroom or asking students questions or having some kind of a quiz at the beginning of the class or a discussion or just checking to look at student work real quick. And you can do it super efficient and super fast. And the reason we wanted to create this video is we've seen a lot of teachers when they shift to kind of creating distance materials to leave that step out because they think, oh, I can do this in class. But now if everybody's in a distance place, you can't see that. So an assignment that says something like, read these two chapters in the book and think about how it connects to the chapter before that. I mean, I'm just making up something super simple, but that has no evidence of learning. So you have no way as a distance learning teacher to know if the student did the task, accomplished the task in the way that it's required. And we've been doing distance learning for 15 years. We see kids play a lot of different games with this. So a lot of times kids will, if you've got a learning management system, they'll log in and go do something else for half an hour and then come back and say, oh, yeah, I was logged in for half an hour. I did this. I read this page you wanted me to read. And if we don't include evidence of learning, we can't track that type of behavior. It's really important to have within every assignment that you create and all the tasks that you ask students to do, to have some kind of incremental evidence of learning built into that assignment. For example, if you're going to have kids read something, you might have a couple of questions after it and say, hey, answer these questions and submit them to the learning management system. Or if it's a paper packet one, say, hey, answer these questions and send this back to me with the next packet that you're going to send in, kind of thing. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but the key thing is that when you build an assignment, there's a couple of steps in there at the end that asks the kids to do a particular task that's going to show you that they accomplished the task and are in the ballpark with that learning. So it's that kind of formative assessment that's built into the assignment. Now, the second thing to say about this, especially if you're a secondary teacher, is that if you've got 150 kids, which is very common for a high school teacher in the state of Minnesota, you have to be super careful about how you structure this, because it's really easy to make mistakes with including this evidence of learning that completely overwhelms you from a grading perspective. You think, okay, I'm going to have kids produce every evidence of learning for everything that they do. Now, if you're having kids produce some kind of writing and you have to read that writing and give them some kind of feedback on that writing, and say it takes you 2 minutes to do that, and you've got 150 kids, that's 150 times 2, which is 300. That's 5 hours of work you just created yourselves for giving 2 minutes of kind of formative feedback that you do very informally and quickly in a classroom. You've just overwhelmed yourself for work. So you have to be smart. As if we lived in a utopian society and we could do that for every student, that would be ideal. But the math doesn't work in our high school systems today. So if you've only got a few students, 20 students, 30 students, that can be fine. If you get the same students in the same class all day, you can do that. But if you're a high school teacher, you probably want to be super efficient about thinking how you could do this. It might be something like, if you've got a learning management system, oftentimes you can trigger the assignment as complete. If it's turned in, then you can kind of take a quick glance at that and it's done. Just marking it for completion. If automated quizzes are something I never used in a real classroom, but in a distance learning environment, I find them very helpful for that very easy formative check of, is the kid in the ballpark? I don't grade them high, if at all, in terms of the kid's grade, but I want to know they did it. I want to see what their score is so they see if they got that general learning accomplished. And that's enough to tell me that, okay, this kid was present, this kid engaged in the learning, and this kid's got a rough idea, at least at a minimum, of what's going on. It's a super efficient tool for doing that if you've got the ability to use a learning management system to do that. So there's a lot of different, the point is, to step back from it, the point is that evidence of learning is really important. And if you've got a large number of kids, be sure you think through it in terms of making it something that you're going to be able to manage from a time management standpoint if you're a high school teacher, especially, that has a ton of kids. But you can't leave it out, and you do want to make sure that you do it in a way that's very efficient. So hopefully that helps. And the reason we did want to mention again is a lot of times we've seen teachers leave that out, and then you can be 2 weeks into it and you have no idea what the kid's doing. You just don't know because there's no visible evidence that they've made learning on each significant assignment that you've given them. Hope that helps. Have a great day.